everyone. I am Chef Christy and I am so glad that you're watching today because the recipe that I want to show you how to make is probably one of my most requested and popular desserts, and it is my bread pudding. Now I want to show you just how I make it, but I must tell you, I've really never followed a recipe. So I'm gonna do the best that I can to give you the exact measurements in the description box below. But I love bread pudding because of how easy it is and all the varieties that you can make it. It is a delicious dessert, but can also be a delicious breakfast. And sometimes you'll even see it called breakfast or French Toast Casserole, which is pretty much the same thing. It just depends on how many eggs you use and the amount of sugar that you use in your custard. And this would be an excellent breakfast for Easter Sunday morning. So I hope that you stay with me and watch this whole video. And if simple and delicious recipes are something that you're interested in, then you might want to consider to subscribe to my channel. So enough said, let's get started. Okay, so the bread that I'm going to use today is I had some leftover Hawaiian sweet rolls that I placed in my freezer. Don't ever throw away bread. It can be hamburger buns or hot dog buns or croissants, even donuts. Sometimes we have like extra that we think are going to go bad. Place them in a Ziploc bag that's a freezer Ziploc bag and put them in your freezer and use that for bread pudding. So today I'm going to do the Hawaiian sweet rolls. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut them into big chunks, and then I'm going to place them in my greased 9x13 casserole dish. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is how to make my custard, and I am using 10 eggs. The more eggs and less sugar you use is more like a French toast, and the less eggs and more sugar is more like a dessert. So I am going the French toast route today, and I have 10 eggs. Okay, so to my eggs, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm not going to add a lot of sugar to this. I'm using the Hawaiian sweet rolls, so there's already sugar in there. And then I've got 3 cups of half and half. Now you can use milk if you want. This just makes it a little bit creamier with the half and half. You could also use heavy cream, but I'm gonna whisk this together. Okay, so once you get your custard mixed, and it takes a little bit, I'm going to add a good amount of vanilla extract, and this is pure vanilla extract, because I want this to be a nice vanilla custard. Now you can have cinnamon, you can add cinnamon, and here is the really nice thing about this dessert and how easy it is. I have added a couple tablespoons of pumpkin and pumpkin pie spice, made it pumpkin bread pudding. I have added applesauce to this, added apples to my bread, and had an apple bread pudding, mashed bananas and have a banana. I mean, you can just do whatever you like. Once you get your basic custard mix, add to it. Use whatever bread, use whatever fillings, but today I'm just doing just the vanilla flavored. Okay, so I've been mixing for a little bit, and I have decided I'm going to add 1 cup of milk to this as well. Remember I said I never really followed a recipe. Just by eyeballing it and knowing about how much liquid I need for all this bread needs to be completely absorbed. I mean, all the liquid needs to be completely absorbed in this bread, and that's quite a bit. So I added 1 cup of milk. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pour this custard right over the bread until it all absorbs. Okay, that may seem like a lot of liquid, but what I'm going to do now is I'm just pushing my bread all the way down inside the liquid just to make sure that it's really well saturated and that all the bread is soaking up the delicious custard. Now this is what I really like about this recipe is a lot of times I'll make this the night before, I'll cover it with saran wrap and put it in my refrigerator, and then the next morning I'll bake it off. I am going to just let this sit for about 15 minutes and then I'm going to bake it. So that's a nice thing about this recipe, are just the different options. Okay, my bread pudding has been sitting for about 15 minutes. And so now I'm going to place it in a 350-degree oven uncovered for about an hour. Okay, so now I want to show you how to make a delicious vanilla cream sauce to pour over the bread pudding. And this is another thing I really like about bread pudding is just the variety of sauces that you can use, whether it's maple syrup, chocolate sauce, a cinnamon sauce, cream cheese, glaze, whatever you want to do to top your bread pudding. But today I'm going to make a very easy vanilla cream sauce that's my favorite. Okay, so to a small saucepan I have a half a cup of white sugar, and to that I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and that just gives it just a little bit of a caramel taste. And then I have 1 tablespoon of flour, and then I'm just going to kind of mix that around a little, and a pinch of salt. And this is the nice thing about this recipe is you just add everything to a pot and bring it all up to a boil. Then I have a half of a cup of half and half and 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. I think that's what it was in here. It's like a mixture of heavy cream and half. And I'm going to just mix all this together. And then I have 1 egg, and I'm just dumping this in. Now this may sound strange, but believe me, it will work. And then 2 tablespoons of butter. So then I'm just going to let this come to a boil, turn on my heat to medium heat, and just stir constantly. Okay, this is one that you need to stir the whole time, and just when it starts to come to a boil, you just turn the heat off, and then I'm going to add some vanilla extract and stir that around. But this is one you don't want to walk away from, or you'll curdle the milk, or you'll scramble your eggs. So you just need to stir constantly. But now it's going to be ready to be poured into a dish. All right, so now I'm just going to pour this delicious custard right into a nice, pretty little pitcher that I can, so that I can pour it right over my bread pudding. It's so good. Okay, I just pulled my bread pudding out of the oven, and it baked for about an hour and 15 minutes, and you can tell that it's nice and firm. It doesn't jiggle in the center, so it's good to go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle with powdered sugar all over the top, just to make it extra pretty. It is gorgeous. I cannot wait to taste it. Okay, doesn't this look like an absolutely beautiful breakfast for Easter morning that your family and friends would love? So leave me a comment below and let me know if you have any suggestions or ideas. Be as creative as you want to be, because this is a super easy breakfast or dessert. So I have got to try this. All right, so gotta cut a nice piece here. Oh, it's still actually steaming. And I'm gonna top this with some berries, but you could put any kind of fruit that you want on here. Oh boy. I'm gonna put some blueberries and raspberries on, right on top. Oh, is that not just gorgeous? Put a little bit of powdered sugar. And then I've got to stir my custard, and I've got to pour my custard right over the top. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Look at that. Can you see that? Oh, okay, so here goes. Oh my goodness, this is just to die for. I can already tell. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. That is divine. You have got to try this. So I really hope that you give it a try and hit the my subscribe button and my notification bell. I have enjoyed showing you this recipe today, and I hope that you have a very happy and blessed Easter.